Hello, welcome to the Busy Little House. I'm Karen. So today I have to make this video for a fourth, maybe fifth time. I got up early before the kids could get up and I tried making this video, a tour of my garden, but it didn't work out good because the volume didn't work, and the second time there was a helicopter and mosquitoes, and so here we go, we're gonna try it again, and hopefully you just forgive all of this morningness and enjoy the garden. My unorganized hippie garden. And have a great Canada Day for all you Canadians. Also, have a happy 1st of July, be safe, and thanks for joining. Have a good day. So this is the garden. Don't forget we're in zone 3 here, so we're lucky to get anything. I don't think I'm going to go so much into detail to tell you every kind of tomato plant or every kind of plant, but really quickly, that is an old, from the garbage, tempo made to keep your cars under in winter up here in the north. Yeah, so I dragged that out of someone's garbage and brought it home. There's green beans on the left and purple beans growing up the right, slowly but surely. These are the red onions that I thought wouldn't work out, but threw them in there and they're doing fine. Tomato, bunch of my peppers. Whoop! I don't know if I can show you these. They are growing. These are a few different kinds of hot peppers. These containers were 20 for 8. 20 bucks got me 8 containers off of a guy selling them. Okay, so tomatoes, Canada Day flowers, tomatoes, they are coming along. I don't know if you can even see this or hear it. Tomatoes, I could always show what's on there. Early girl, zebra, my eggplants, more tomatoes. These are all the garlic from last year. I mean from the fall that I planted and came up. These are my chives, 2 different kinds of chives. This is where I keep all the lettuce growing continually so that I can transplant as it grows to other parts of the garden, like between all the tomato plants, kind of as a ground cover. Okay, really quickly, we've got the bed of garlic. This is half carrot and half beets, and then all the lettuce and arugula, etc. These are some sad extra plants that I had, extra pepper plants and some cayenne. Those are not so sad because they are growing. Perfect. Tomato plants, lettuce, spinach, and then on the back is the leek. This is pepper plants, whoops, sorry. Pepper plants, tomato plants, spinach. There's Swiss chard all around the spinach that are looking sad, but they need a little water. Yeah, spinach, and then more, it's the same idea. More leeks in the back. These are all eggplants that died and came back twice. So, better than not at all. A bunch of tomato plants that I didn't think would make it, and they all came back. Salad. That's the Chinese salad, so it makes a big bunch. Some pepper plants. Those are all little pepper plants on the back that also all died and came back. And then more. This one, I've never had this before. Whoops. I'm probably the shakiest garden tour ever. So, I don't even know how good this is since it sounds horrible, but it's called bitter melon, if anyone's had it. I'm just trying it. because I never had before. There's 2 little plants here. Tomatoes. A couple cantaloupe in there to grow out the back. This is not a planned garden. In fact, it's a little bit embarrassing, but it grows food. So, Swiss chard, some melons, peppers. We eat this salad like crazy, and it just keeps producing. It's doing great. I have to show you my favorite salad. This. I don't know if you can see how pretty this is, but when you see this in your salad, it is so pretty. Okay, moving on. Back to bed number 3. This is half red onion and then half Spanish white onions. Tomatoes. All kinds. It's a lot of tomatoes. These were all reject peppers that did not want to grow and came back. Some kale. If you could see the shadow of my hair flying around, I apologize. Some more peppers, tomatoes, peppers, beans, cucumbers. All the cucumbers in my entire garden died with the hail and then came back. So, and I mean died, like there was nothing left. I don't even understand. At one point there was just a stalk. So I really don't know how that happened, but a bunch of eggplants that are getting eaten, and I don't really care because I planted way too many eggplants. Purple beans. All planted this year. We just made this section, and I just had too much to plant, so I would dig a hole in the ground, plop it in there with fertilizer and compost and chicken manure, and voila. So it's not pretty. It's definitely not pretty. And I let it all grow. I just weed whack the rows. I'm gonna eventually put down something, but for the airplane. So these are all kinds of squash and melons, and these ones here are crookneck. They just got planted yesterday, so they look sad, but they should revive just fine. Oh, it's because they're letting the gliders go. Woo! I don't know how much you can see. It looks terrible from my view. Cauliflower, bunch of cabbage, more cauliflower, more cabbage, cauliflower, some sad sorrel that I just finally got into the ground this morning just for my special video. This is my my pumpkin patch that grows up this doohickey. This is the best tour ever. Some hickory roots, squash. I think this is the buttercup squash. I can't remember which squash I planted. I put the tags, but then I weed whacked them, so. Zucchini. This one's still showing. I use forks and plastic spoons and such. Yeah, that's it. This is the squash section. This is just a bunch of tomatoes that I needed to string up and had no time. This is what you get. By the way, these posts are also from the Tempo that I picked up. So I've been using those throughout a lot of this. Yeah, this is all broccoli on the 2 corners. Then, so this row is tomato peppers, all different kinds. Some crawling squash to crawl up that. And the most beautiful little flowers that I make. Oops, I don't know if you can see how pretty these are. Let me get one with the sun on it. That's just opening. And then the back row, like I said, all of the, oh here. Isn't that pretty? Like I said, all of the cucumbers had died with that hailstorm. A lot of vegetables died in the hailstorm, but don't judge my garden. It's all mixed up. There are peppers here, and wherever I could throw something, I was throwing it. And with what time I had, squash, and then, whoops, you can see that they're not even climbing yet. Like, that's how small they are, but they came back. So we'll see. Cucumbers. Whoops, I'm not even aiming at them. Cucumbers along there, and then kale all along here. And this ditch was dug. I don't know if you can see how deep it is. I can walk here and comfortably harvest on both sides of either of these. Dug up the earth and flipped it upside down on these lumps. And now I have raised beds. It worked out fine. They actually are really, really low maintenance. I'm not worried about too many weeds or too much grass coming up. I don't have the time to care. Some tomatoes I had to just toss up somewhere, so they're growing there. A bunch of squash, more broccoli, Honeycrisp. I have apple trees on the far side of the house too. This is plum, and that one's plum. Goji berry plant. Another goji berry plant. Then we have, whoop, a little grapevine. So there are 3 of these. 1, 2, and then 3 over there. Second plum tree. Second grape. 3rd grape. And then this is those 3 sisters set up. My camera keeps shooting above where I want it to. I don't know how to aim today. So the squash is a ground cover. And that's just my shadow that you're seeing. That's all you get to see today, my shadow. Squash covering the ground, and then the beans or peas, whatever you choose, grow up the corn or the sunflower. In this case, it's sunflower, peas, and squash. The buttercup squash, which is my favorite to roast. And for me, it preserves really well. It goes super good with a chicken roast, and so look out, Mr. Squash. This one is sad looking, but it was completely dead and is coming back now. And it's the grafted 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 different grafts of pear on this tree. So praying it comes back. And then a cherry tree. And this is my beautiful section where I have, it's because of this section right here is all corn and sunflower. Can you see them all? Sunflowers over there, a pile of corn over here. That's right, they're not there because somebody mowed them. I won't say who, but I have to put a child gate up, a little child's gate up to save 2 corn, 3? No, 2 corn stalks. I only have 2 left. So funny. These are the hardy kiwi that are doing great. I mean, there was nothing. I bought a little tiny baby plant. And they're doing good. They're gonna grow up here, and I'll put some T-post up there. This is a super sad compost section that's overgrown. But I plopped a few sweet potatoes, and they're just rocking it in there. This was supposed to be a climber for beans or peas, but now it's a kid zone. Cherry tree. Comfrey. I have to do that so that it doesn't get mowed. I don't know how shaky or terrible that tour was, but I will quickly run over to my tea garden now. This is just some herbs I put in the pot. I planted a bunch from seed. I have a few all over. This is my tea garden. that I love, love, love. It really gets me through winter. So this grass will get so high. This is the citronella grass. And then the lemon balm. There's a few. This one came back from death as well. And this one too. Some lemon balm. 3 different types of mint. So we have the spearmint, and then the chocolate mint, and then over there is the regular mint, and chamomile. And that's my recipe for the tea. So I just harvest whatever comes out of here, dry it all together, and make my tea for the winter. I do have some in the front of the house too that I'm harvesting. I didn't prepare this for the video to look pretty or anything, but this here is a beautiful piece of wood that I grew up with. This tree outside of my house, and I would do homework in it and loved it. So if I did not grab all these babies and plant them along here, I'd end up where this one giant one had killed off all the rest. So I had to find a place, and I just did this yesterday, where I dug a hole and just threw them all down. They look like they'll be just fine there. This is my tiny hugel culture bed. So there's only one peanut plant that made it. And then, so there are sweet potatoes all underneath these big leaves that seem to be doing just fine. All growing all around, and they were so tiny, so they're doing fine. And then, well, these squash were planted from seed the same time as the squash in the garden, and they're way, way bigger. So we're getting somewhere. And I will for sure expand this hugel culture bed to way over here. Oh, by the way, there's going to be herbs as well. There are some chives and lavender here. Whoops. Some chives that got mowed. This is the medicinal lavender. Isn't that cute? It smells amazing. I don't know if you can even see that. Okay, I'm gonna run. This is gonna die. Bunch of comfrey, horseradish. Isn't that pretty? I've got comfrey all over around my trees. These are my reject onions, the red currant, Amalia's little tree, a little maple tree, some berry, oh, those are rose bushes. Here is Amalia's little garden. It's got gnomes and fake fairies because we couldn't find any fairies. She's got that, but she pretends there's fairies, so. This is a little sunflower she got from her tea. So I think I was here when my battery died. I was at the sunflower, hush flint. These are all just perennials. This is one of the blueberry bushes. Blueberry, blueberry, and blueberry. Ouch, mosquito. Chickens. Okay, really quickly, I'll just zoom in. Here's some apple trees. And this is a strawberry patch. Strawberries all grown around, some asparagus, honeyberry back there, and rhubarb, as well as piles of blackberries and raspberries. This is my such a random garden. I didn't even think I was going to put it on this video because it almost doesn't count. But these are my roses to me, from me to me. Look at those cute little things. I love it. And that's my little bear rolling in dirt, you. Hello. A bunch of herbs. This is the holy basil. I did a whole course on that. That stuff is amazing. Flowers. Okay, this is so random and actually quite embarrassing, but the thing is, this whole area was only made because this back section here got washed off with the flooding this spring. So this was an accidental garden. In the end, it's really messed up, full of beans and flowers and some eggplants. sorry, collards, which I still have never eaten yet. I don't know how to eat them. Apparently it's going to be like kale. So cabbage, bunch of reject tomatoes that were just too little. We'll see what happens there. They probably won't have time to produce. Ugh, what is this? I don't even know what I'm looking at. I think it's a moth. What a strange moth. Look at that thing. I don't think I've ever seen one like that. It's holding on for dear life. These are the Mongolian sunflowers. A bunch of extra collards, some lavender, my purple cabbage back there. This has been taken down. It's just full of storage. I've got to clean it up. Hold on tight. It's a wiggly one.
He's so goopy.
Gentle, Gabe.
He's squishy. He's squishy. Okay.
Don't move.
Dude. Good.
Is he silly?
Oh,
You like that, Gabe?
Huh? Look, his legs are big and squishy. He's so big. Where did you find this?
On the grass.
He's so huge.
You're gonna have to say goodbye, send him back to the water, eh, Gabe? I just had one more thing to add. But then helicopters came by and the wind is picking up. I don't think I can be heard, and it's really important. So maybe I'll give it a second. There are flies here from the Jurassic era. Okay. So, Single Dad Homesteading, Chris from Single Dad Homesteading, ends all of his YouTube videos with live with what God gives you. And it's such important words. If you're not living with what God gives you, then you're thinking about what you don't have. Or you're dreaming about, well, dreaming is fine, but you're wanting what you don't have, or you're wanting what others have. A friend of mine on Facebook yesterday wrote, "I'm too busy in my garden to see what others are growing," and I just think that that's such great words to go by. It is starting. It's all starting now, and I have twice what I thought I'd have this year, so I'm so grateful for it. It is slower than I want, but living with what God gives you is the way to go. I mean, I kept losing faith this year, and I would replant and then planted too early, and frost took out some, and hail took out a bunch, and anyway, it kept dying, and I kept planting more, and now I have too much. So, if you have too much time on your hands for your garden and you're too busy looking at other people's gardens, then you should take more time to help them grow theirs, if that's the case. Get off me, bug! I genuinely love watching all of your YouTube video garden updates. I actually take the time to hurry up, get the kids to bed so I can have alone time and watch these videos and catch up, because I'm genuinely happy for you. I am so happy to watch the updates. I'm not just watching it for watch time. I genuinely am happy for you, even if my plants aren't big enough to give me cucumbers yet or tomatoes yet. I genuinely am happy to see others harvesting and canning and learning. I'm just learning so much this year. It's like, it's a crazy learning year, and it's a great friendship year. So thank you so much. It's been a rough couple of weeks, and hope to get back to YouTube soon. Have a great week. Many blessings to y'all, and to y'all. Did you hear that, Southern y'all?